Hey, joining us now on the Marmy Rock Show, I believe it's Terry's second visit on the show, if I'm not mistaken. Terry is the longstanding member of the band Jameson Raid from Birmingham, UK. Terry, welcome back to the show.
It's great. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's good to be here again.
So we've got good stuff to talk about with Jameson Raid, but before we get into that, is it actually possible that I saw that it's pretty much your 40th year of involvement with Jameson Raid?
That's absolutely right, yeah. I don't know why, but I just keep going.
Well, look back at that a little bit and just kind of reflect. What was the best decade looking back? So you got 4 decades of music to think about. What was your favorite one?
I think that's a good question. The first decade was great because we played so many gigs together with the original lineup, and it was very exciting. I was a lot younger, obviously. But the last, since 2010, when I reformed the band, has been very exciting as well. Played lots of gigs, played some foreign countries, made the new album Uninvited Guests, which was, for me, a bit of a dream fulfillment.
So let's talk a little bit about Uninvited Guests. Where was the album recorded and who produced it?
It was actually recorded in the UK. At Dave Rothen's home studio. Dave was the guitarist on the album, and I think he did a really good job. So engineering was done also with Dave and Pete Green and myself.
Now, for folks that maybe haven't heard a little bit of Jameson Raid in a bit, is the lineup the same as it was? Give us a little bit of an insight into who the current lineup of Jameson Raid is.
Well, that's a good one, Rocky, because the current lineup of Jameson Raid is me. I seem to have... now, whilst we were making the album, we realised that we were going in different directions, and it soon became apparent that this would be the only album that we would make with this lineup. Now, I could have left the band, but as the only original member, that would have meant that the band was effectively finished, so the others left the band and left me. So in the future it's going to be called Terry Dark's Jameson Raid to reflect this fact, and we'll go on from here.
So hey man, let's get into the album a little bit. A while back I had listened to the tune Metal People quite a bit, and I like that one. Is that an autobiographical tune?
It is an autobiographical tune, you're quite right, yeah. Because there was a big gap in the band's progress from the 1980s to 2010, I got that feeling that I should write something to reflect that. And the lyrics of the song say, you know, we've been underground for a long time, but we're like jewels in the sand, but we're still metal people. You know, metal people are their own community. They rely upon each other and they look after each other. That's one of the things I love about playing metal music.
Yeah, one of the things I like, you just mentioned it, was actually the next thing I was going to mention in that song, is the notion of rock and roll being underground. Do you feel like it's moved back underground again, and do you like that?
I do, actually, yeah. I think it's always been that way with metal music in particular. You don't hear metal music except for the old favourites that they trot out, like Metallica's hits and stuff like that, occasionally on mainstream radio. So metal music is underground, and these days it seems to be coming back underground, if you know what I mean. There seems to be more people interested in metal music, which is a good thing.
Yeah, it's funny because, being underground again, do you still feel like these days when you play rock and roll music, when I listen to the song Metal People, it almost sounds like you felt stigmatized or judged a little bit. Do you still feel that playing rock and roll music, or does that crowd just get rid of all that for you?
The crowd is right there. They're right behind you, and they understand exactly what we're talking about. And whenever you go to a metal concert, there are so many people who judge metal people as people, like I say in the song, with long hair and denim jackets and leather and probably not very nice image that they think that we have. But the fact is, when you get to a metal concert and you're surrounded by those people, they're just great. and everybody has a good time.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. You know, we have a mission here. We call it Changing the World Through Rock and Roll, which is part of ours, is to bring out the good, stories and things that people do in rock and roll. So I couldn't agree with you more. So I feel like one of the tunes I like is a tune called Haunted, and I feel like that has a little bit of a different feel to it than the rest of the album.
Yeah, when I was actually, I wrote this song, of course, with Pete Green, the bass player. Pete and I wrote all the songs on the album. And we decided that although the start of the song was great and reflected the feeling that we wanted to get into about a guy who's suffering with this spirit infestation in his home, it would end too abruptly. And I thought that we had to go further. So we put together the end part of it, which is a change of pace and a change of mood. And then they just all came together very well. There's some nice solo work in there at the end, and it rounded the song off.
So let's keep talking about a couple of tunes. Now, I'm afraid I'm gonna miss something I should have known here. But the song "9 Reasons," why 9 Reasons? Where does that come from?
I think 9 Reasons is just 9 happens to be my favourite number. If I'm backing a horse, I'll back number 9. If I'm buying a lottery ticket, the last number is going to be number 9, Rocky. And the 9 Reasons just came automatically into my head, to be honest. And then I started thinking about what would the 9 reasons be, and when I did that, it seemed to make sense.
I was wondering because I was almost nervous to ask you. I was like, because there's something I supposed to know about this. Is it something in a famous poem or something that I was supposed to be aware of?
Absolutely not, no. It's just me again. You know, I like to tell stories, and 9's not too high a number. People can count up to that. Might help as well.
So, hey, talking about storytelling now, I was watching the other day. Truth and Hearsay has a music video out there to it, and it's listed as a lyric video, but it's a little more than a lyric video. Why don't you tell people about that?
Yeah, I recorded that in Birmingham with, I can't remember the name of the guy who actually made it for me. It's on the end of the video. And I wanted to present this sort of crazy priest idea. He's not exactly a religious person, but this metal music frightens him, and he's been hearing about all these things that have happened in the church, and not just the Catholic Church or the Protestant Church, but in churches in foreign lands as well, Islamic churches. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who they are. They all think they've got the right message. They all want you to believe what they say. And to be honest with you, I don't.
The music video came out really well, and it's a very entertaining video as well. You're a very artistic kind of guy in that thing.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So the album artwork, once again, we're talking about the album Uninvited Guests. It reminded me of like a classic metal, almost like a throwback kind of cover.
Yeah, I think you're right. But don't forget that what we tried to achieve with this album, it's the first album that Jameson Raid made with all brand new songs. We've done compilations in the past, and we've done EPs. It's the first album with 11 really good, solid new songs. But we wanted to bring the band up to date, and but still retain the roots of Jameson Raid's music, the strong sound, strong stories, and things like that. So the artwork is designed to reflect that as well. Do you think it's worked?
Oh, absolutely. It's a very cool cover, and it just, the reason I called it kind of a throwback, it reminded me, you know, in the 80s when I would always want those, you used to have the kind of cool album cover t-shirts, which you don't see much anymore of.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm hoping to make some t-shirts of the album cover, but I haven't got around to it yet. I think it would work well.
I think so too. Now, knowing that you're the basic member of Jameson Raid, what about tour dates coming up? Will there be live shows, and will you pull a band together for that?
I will pull a band together for the live shows. And I've got various people who I think will want to work with me. I haven't asked them yet because I've got no live shows to ask them for. But I think it would be nice to get out there and play the songs from Uninvited Guests live. and I think people will enjoy it. So I will be doing that next year, yeah.
Now, is the UK still the biggest audience for you guys? Because I know a lot of bands that have been around as long as yours has developed fans in some pockets around the globe. Is the UK still your biggest audience?
The UK is still our biggest audience, but it's become less over the years. And now, in fact, the UK, Germany, and the USA are pretty close together in numbers of fans for Jameson Raid.
So with that being said, is there any hope of seeing you in the USA over here?
I would just love to come. I really would. I've never been to the USA, and I've travelled an awful lot, but I haven't got there yet. And to bring Jameson Raid's music over there and play over there would be absolutely wonderful. I'd love it.
We'd absolutely love to see you, man. So, hey, one last thing. What do you got on tap for 2016? Not that you haven't already been busy just releasing this album, but what's the start of the year going to bring for you?
The start of the year, for me, is going to bring alcohol. And after the alcohol has disappeared out of my system, I'll be working on some new songs. I've got a song called Superglue Salesman at the moment, which is about the people who've saved our lives in the past. Actually, it's about politicians. I don't usually like to write about them, but there are people like Jimmy Carter, Henry Kissinger, and people like that who've actually made a difference and saved lives in the past. And this song reflects my feelings about them, that there are some good politicians out there. And I call them superglue salesmen because they've been sticking the world back together.
Nicely put, very poetically put, Terry. So, the name of the band is Jameson Raid. You've heard them a couple times here before in the Marmy Rock Show. They're out of Birmingham, the UK. And Terry Dark, man, the founding 40-year member of Jameson Raid. I want to thank you for being on the show again.
I want to thank you for inviting me. It's been a pleasure as usual. Great questions, and I wish you a lot of success with this show.
All right, man. Right back at you. Have a great night, man.
Thank you.